It's become quite common for critics and reviewers to dismiss extra cosmetic content by prefacing it with various variations of "it's only cosmetic" or "cosmetic DLC doesn't affect my gameplay" in order to justify its inclusion and existence in a game. I disagree. A lot of people disagree. Let's talk about it. Before I get started, I want to point out that I've had this script in the works for a good 9 months, and even crafted an actual episode out of it, which I will never release because I do not agree with basically anything inside of it. The episode I made, it just turned into a microtransaction comparison between games with very little of anything else. Therefore, I retooled it a bit to be a bit more generic, and well, here we are. Okay, let's start. You probably heard the phrase, "it's only cosmetic," once or twice when people defend microtransactions, which just basically means the game isn't affected by the skins / hats / shorts that I paid money for, and neither is my personal experience of the game. As I said at the start, I disagree with this whole mentality, despite the logic on the surface appearing quite sound. From the only perspective that apparently appears to matter, the mechanics of a game, then yes, cosmetics are obviously exactly that, cosmetic items to customize player characters or weapons. Now, sometimes they're added so that the artist and the studio have something to do while a game is being worked on. Can't exactly tell them to do coding because they don't necessarily know how to do that. Other times, it's just there for profit's sake. Looking at you, Valve. For this episode, however, let's take a different point of view, the psychology of cosmetics in games, specifically paying for them with money, especially in games that you pay for in the first place. I'll get to that, don't worry. I would argue that owning cosmetic items do have an effect on you, and they do sometimes affect people who play the game. I'd be here forever explaining every game's way of squeezing money for cosmetics, so I'll paint with broad strokes for the most part. A lot of free-to-play games have a crate and key system popularized by F2P game Team Fortress 2, and definitely not F2P game CSGO. You get a crate, either by a random item drop, earning it in-game or buying it with money or in-game currency, and a key to open said crate with, which is normally only available via microtransactions or grinding for a long time for in-game coinage. After you have a crate and key, you open it and hope that the RNG is in your favour to get the item you oh so want. If you successfully get the item you want, you feel special, untouchable even, which leads to player confidence in buying more and more crates and keys and opening them up. Welcome to Gambling 101, folks. Can you see my point yet? If you don't get the item you want, then you're either stuck with it, or you can sell it on for peanuts on the Steam Marketplace, or trade it and just try again. Again, varies by the game, and obviously doesn't work for every single player. Then, whoever is opening those crates gets angry, and either doesn't play the game anymore due to their bad luck, or just doesn't open any more crates until some other time, because waiting apparently totally makes a difference, I'm led to believe. It doesn't. And that is the psychological hook, right there. Me saying there's logic to you lot might sound eerily familiar to the experiences some of you out there might have had. In short, and because I'm not a psychologist, games that offer cosmetics to the player exploit the human desire to be different than everyone else around you, which is a part of the open-the-box get-a-cosmetic-like system that these companies have created. The ability to customize your character to your liking, and using microtransactions, and sometimes random drops and trading, which does drive people to pay and play your game. Hell, it's why free-to-play games are so lucrative and so damn popular. Overwatch is probably one of the few big games out there that allows you to buy your damn skins / emotes / sprays. Post-Summer Games 2016, that is. Trust me, I won't go into that. However, as pro-consumer this is, well, let me remind you that Overwatch is not a free-to-play game. It's a paid game retailing for 30 quid for the standard edition, and it has free-to-play elements in it. In my mind, free-to-play elements, such as, loot boxes and opening them up, are never a good thing in a paid game, regardless if its purpose is cosmetic items or not. So you can imagine why people weren't happy at Blizzard for including the ability to buy loot boxes with real money in the first place, and thus exploiting those who have more money than sense for the purposes of loot box gambling, and it is gambling, you can't convince me otherwise, which may or may not contain the item you desire. And yes, it's easy to get them, but it's even easier to buy them. So In Blizzard's defense, there is a mechanic in Overwatch and Hearthstone called a pity timer. In Overwatch's case, I'm not quite sure if it's the same for Hearthstone, it allows the player to increase the rarity chance by simply opening a ton of loot boxes. But in order to do that, you need loot boxes in the first place. Quickest way to get loot boxes? Buy them with real money. Second quickest would be the Overwatch arcade when that was released. More importantly, the more items you unlock, the more duplicate of the items you're gonna get. And while the dupes do actually give you credits, a measly 5 in case you were wondering, you do need to grind for the credits, so you need to open more loot boxes. It's an endless, savage loop. You can also do what Rocket League does and cut out the Steam Marketplace middleman entirely and just trade between the game itself. The devs of Rocket League have been remarkably clever. You can see possible outcomes from crates so you don't waste your money, but that's true of TF2 and basically every other crate system. A portion of the money goes to funding RLCS esports prize pools, so not all of it's going to the Rocket League developers. And you can't trade through Steam, or you can't even put any of the items you get from a crate, or even the crates themselves, through trading. You can only trade between people in the game itself. It's in-game trading, which is admittedly a legitimately clever way of, making sure that the marketplace has no value. And since there's no real trading forum, items are essentially worth the same without a marketplace governing how expensive things need to be. Hell, you can even hide crates from your inventory if you want to. You still get them, and you can trade them for any item. However, whatever game you play with this sort of system, it's up to the community to decide on what costs what, and what's touted as more desirable or what looks the best for you to equip. It's like a nerdy fashion show that we're all a part of. Or nerdy gun show in the case of CSGO. Admit it, if a game has customization options, you want to make said thing as pretty and as unique to you as possible, so others can recognize a unique player on the field of battle, or hell, for your own personal enjoyment. That's a thing. That's why weapon skins and cosmetics are so popular, as they are rather unique to the player, and like I said, you're unlikely to see a person with the same skin, of the same rarity, of the same quality in-game. For the record, I am not against skins or cosmetics or anything that improves the gameplay experience for anyone, as much as I'm negative about this. In fact, I own a load of cosmetics and weapon skins in a bunch of games: Payday 2, Paladins, Overwatch, TF2, even Battleborn. Now that's gone free to play. Sorry, free trial, because Pitchford can't do marketing properly. Hell, I don't even mind microtransactions half the time, as long as they don't impede my progress in the game I'm playing, or they do what Overwatch and a lot of AAA games have done, and put the microtransactions in full price retail games, where the sole purpose is just to literally squeeze money out of you. As I said earlier, free-to-play game mechanics have no business being in a full price retail game. Stop money whoring and sell us the damn game without all this RNG nonsense. Because every paid game that does this. With that, I thank you very much for listening. Damn, that Battleborn reference was topical.